What if I told you that the secret to becoming a billionaire isn't about complex strategies, but about a few simple habits you can start today? Discover the life-changing lessons from Warren Buffett's journey from a small-town boy to a financial legend. And if you want more stories that can change your life, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. Today, we have a very special story. It is not just a story to help you practice your English listening skills. It is also a story that holds the secrets to success from one of the greatest investors of all time, Warren Buffett. If you have a dream of becoming rich, let me tell you something very important. About 80% of the wealthiest people in the world today built their own success. They didn't wait for someone else to give it to them. They worked for it one step at a time. Warren Buffett's story is a perfect example of this. He was not born into a rich family. He did not have special connections or easy shortcuts. But today, he is one of the wealthiest people in the world. And here is the best part of his story. His life is filled with lessons that anyone, yes, even you, can use to find success. So please get comfortable and listen closely. This is more than just a story. It is a guide for your own journey. I promise that if you stay with me, you will leave with knowledge that has the power to change your life. Let's start from the very beginning. Warren Edward Buffett was born on August 30th, 1930, in a small town called Omaha, Nebraska. He was the second child of Howard Buffett, who was a stockbroker and a politician, and his wife, Layla Buffett. Warren had two sisters, and they all grew up together in a small, simple house. Even as a young child, Warren was a little different. While the other kids in his neighborhood were outside playing with toys, Warren was inside counting coins. He was curious about numbers and money. By the time he was only 6 years old, he had already started to understand how money worked. One day, he walked to a grocery store near his house. He bought a pack of chewing gum for 25 cents. Then he went around his neighborhood and sold each piece of gum for 5 cents. He made a small profit. It wasn't much money, but it was a start. This was his very first business. At just 11 years old, Warren did something that most adults find difficult to understand. He bought his first stock. The company was called City Service, and he bought 3 shares for $38 each. But soon after he bought them, the price of the stock fell to $27. Many people would have panicked. They would have sold the stock to avoid losing more money. But Warren didn't. He waited. He believed in the power of being patient. Finally, the stock price rose to $40, and he sold it, making a small profit. But guess what happened next? The stock kept rising. First, it went up to $100, and then all the way to $200. This moment taught Warren a very important lesson, and he would remember for his entire life. Great things come to those who wait. From that day on, Warren was unstoppable. He started to explore every possible way to make money. When he was 13, he got a job delivering newspapers. Every single morning, while the rest of the city was still quiet and asleep, Warren was on his bicycle riding through the empty streets. He carefully tossed newspapers onto the doorsteps of his customers. He worked very hard, and he saved every penny he earned. By the time he was 16 years old, he had saved $3,000. That was a huge amount of money for a teenager at that time. But what did he do with this money? Did he spend it on games or new clothes? No. Warren used his savings to buy a 40-acre farm. He then rented that farm to a farmer. Just imagine that for a moment. At only 16, Warren Buffett was already earning passive income just like a professional investor. Warren wasn't just a businessman. He was a dedicated learner. He loved to read books, especially books about finance and business. One of his favorite books was called 1,000 Ways to Make $100. This book opened his mind and showed him all the possibilities of creating wealth. He also had a natural talent for numbers. At school, his classmates thought he was a math genius because he could calculate difficult problems in his head much faster than anyone else. But Warren wasn't just good with numbers. He was good at seeing opportunities where other people saw nothing. Warren's family played a very important role in shaping the person he became. His father, Howard, was his biggest role model. Howard taught him the value of being honest, of working hard, and of taking responsibility for his actions. His mother, Layla, was strict, but she was also very supportive. She wanted to see her son succeed, and she always encouraged him to follow his dreams. But Warren's journey wasn't always easy. Sometimes he felt lonely. He was so different from the other kids his age. While they were dreaming of becoming athletes or movie stars, Warren was dreaming of building businesses. He once said, "I knew I was going to be rich. I never doubted it for a second." If you are listening to this and thinking, "I don't have much money," or "I don't know where to start," please remember this. Warren Buffett started with almost nothing. He didn't have fancy gadgets, expensive clothes, or a rich family to help him. All he had was a strong desire to learn and the courage to try new things. After graduating from high school in 1947, Warren was only 17 years old, but he already knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to become rich by investing. However, his father insisted that Warren should go to college, so he enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania. But Warren wasn't happy there. He found many of his classes boring and not very useful for his real-world goals. After 2 years, he transferred to the University of Nebraska, where he graduated with a degree in business when he was just 19 years old. Even though Warren was young, his financial knowledge was far ahead of others. While he was in college, he continued to work odd jobs and invest his savings into small businesses. By the time he graduated, Warren had already saved around $10,000, which was a massive amount of money in those days. Warren wanted to learn from the very best. So he applied to Harvard Business School, one of the most famous schools in the world. But to his surprise, he was rejected. He was disappointed, of course. But instead of giving up, Warren saw this rejection as an opportunity. He discovered that one of his heroes, a brilliant investor named Benjamin Graham, was teaching at Columbia University. Benjamin Graham was famous for his book, The Intelligent Investor, and for his belief in something called value investing. The idea was simple: find good companies that are undervalued, buy their stock, and then wait patiently for their true value to be recognized by the market. Warren was fascinated by this idea. It felt right to him. At Columbia, Warren worked hard and impressed his professor. He quickly became one of Benjamin Graham's favorite students. The lessons Graham taught him would shape Warren's investment philosophy for the rest of his life. As he often said later, investing is simple, but it is not easy. After finishing his studies at Columbia in 1951, Warren hoped to work for Benjamin Graham's investment firm. But Graham turned him down. He told Warren that he didn't have enough experience yet. Again, Warren did not let this stop him. He returned to his hometown of Omaha and started working as a stockbroker. During this time, he continued to study companies and investments with great focus. He would spend hours reading annual reports, analyzing businesses, and looking for hidden opportunities. In 1952, Warren married Susan Thompson, who became one of the most important people in his life. Warren's life was never just about money. He valued his family deeply and always made sure to spend time with them, even when he was busy building his career. In 1954, Warren finally got the opportunity he had been waiting for. Benjamin Graham called him and offered him a job at his investment firm in New York. Warren was thrilled. He worked closely with Graham, learning everything he could about value investing from the master himself. 2 years later, in 1956, Warren Buffett returned to Omaha. He felt ready to start his own investment partnership. With $15,000 from his family and friends, he started his firm. From this small, humble beginning, Warren began to lay the foundation of the Berkshire Hathaway empire, a name that would one day become a symbol of one of the greatest success stories in financial history. But his journey wasn't just about making money. It was about making the right decisions, staying consistent, and trusting the power of patience. One of Warren's earliest major investments was in a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. In 1962, he noticed that the company's stock was undervalued, meaning it was selling for less than it was worth. He began buying its shares. However, this was not a completely smooth journey. When the owner of Berkshire Hathaway tried to cheat Warren in a buyout deal, Warren felt betrayed. Acting on principle, he decided to buy enough shares to take control of the entire company. He soon realized, however, that the textile business itself was in decline. It was a dying industry. So he made a brilliant decision. He shifted the company's focus from textiles to investments. This single decision transformed Berkshire Hathaway into a holding company, a company that owns parts of many other successful companies. It was no longer just a textile mill. It became Warren's main vehicle for growing his wealth and influence. Warren's strategy was beautifully simple. He would find great companies, buy them at a reasonable price, and then hold on to them for a very long time. This patient strategy led him to invest in some of America's most famous businesses. For example, he invested in American Express in 1964. At the time, a big scandal had caused the company's stock price to fall dramatically. People were scared. But Warren saw an opportunity. He believed in the strength of the brand and invested heavily. Over time, the company recovered and became one of Warren's most successful investments ever. He invested in the Washington Post in 1973. Warren became good friends with Katharine Graham, the CEO of the newspaper. He invested in the company, and his support helped it grow into one of the most respected media outlets in the world. In 1988, he made one of his boldest moves. He invested over $1 billion in Coca-Cola. He believed the company had something special, unmatched brand loyalty. His faith in Coca-Cola paid off tremendously, and it became a cornerstone of his investment portfolio. Warren saw that Coca-Cola wasn't just a drink. It was a global brand connected to feelings of happiness and celebration. People drank it at birthdays, on holidays, and during simple moments of relaxation. For many years, Warren avoided investing in technology stocks. He often said that he didn't understand them well enough. But in 2016, his perspective changed. He recognized that Apple was not just a tech company. It was a consumer products powerhouse with an incredibly loyal customer base. Under the leadership of Tim Cook, Apple created products like the iPhone and the Apple Watch that became essential parts of people's daily lives. Warren saw the immense value in Apple's ability to mix technology with simplicity. So Berkshire Hathaway began buying Apple shares. Today, Apple is Berkshire's single largest investment, making up over 40% of its portfolio. This shift taught everyone a critical lesson. Never stop learning, and be willing to adapt. The world changes, and we must be willing to change with it. One of the most surprising things about Warren Buffett is how he runs his companies. He rarely holds meetings. He doesn't micromanage his employees. Instead, he communicates with them through annual letters. Warren believes in hiring talented managers and then letting them do their jobs without interference. His philosophy is simple. I don't look for people to fail. I look for people who will succeed without me. This hands-off approach has allowed Berkshire Hathaway to own and operate dozens of successful companies, including Geico, Dairy Queen, Duracell, and See's Candies. Despite being one of the richest people on the planet, Warren Buffett lives a life of incredible simplicity. He still lives in the same modest house he bought back in 1958 for $31,500. He starts each day with a simple breakfast from McDonald's, and he never spends more than $3.17 on his meal. Warren doesn't see the need to upgrade his car or his wardrobe often. He drives a used car and avoids buying extravagant things. He once joked, "My life would not improve with a bigger house or a nicer car." This frugal lifestyle shows his deep belief that wealth should not be wasted on things that don't bring real value and happiness. Warren's personal life was not without its struggles. He deeply loved his wife, Susan Buffett, who played a huge role in his success. However, their relationship became complicated over time. In 1977, Susan decided to move to San Francisco to pursue her own interests. But the couple never divorced. Even though they lived apart, they remained very close. In fact, Susan even introduced Warren to Astrid Menks, who would later become his second wife after Susan passed away in 2004. Astrid and Susan shared a unique and caring bond, and both of them looked after Warren in their own ways. Warren once said, "Marrying the right person is the most important decision you'll ever make." His life shows the power of love, understanding, and adapting to change. In the early 1990s, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates became close friends. Their friendship was built on a deep mutual respect and a shared passion for philanthropy, which means using wealth to help others. Together, they started the Giving Pledge. This is an initiative that encourages billionaires to promise to donate the majority of their wealth to charitable causes. Warren himself has already given away more than $50 billion, making him one of the greatest philanthropists in history. He believes that wealth is a tool to improve society, not just something for personal enjoyment. Warren Buffett's daily routine is as disciplined as his investment strategy. He spends about 80% of his day reading. He reads newspapers, books, and financial reports. He believes that knowledge compounds just like money. The more you learn, the more your knowledge grows. He encourages everyone to develop a habit of continuous learning. Although he is not a fitness enthusiast, Warren keeps his mind sharp by staying curious and engaged with the world. He once said, "The more you learn, the more you earn." What truly sets Warren Buffett apart is not just his wealth, but his values. He believes in long-term thinking, patience, and integrity. He never chases popular trends or gets influenced by what everyone else is doing. Instead, he focuses on businesses that he can understand and trust. Warren often says, "You don't need to be a genius to be a great investor. You just need discipline and a sound plan." By the early 2000s, Warren Buffett was known not only as the greatest investor of all time, but also as a man of immense generosity. He had always believed that wealth should serve society, not just one person. This belief led him to take one of the most remarkable steps of his life. In 2006, Warren made a monumental announcement. He pledged to give away 99% of his wealth to charity. His words were simple, yet powerful. If you're one of the lucky ones to have great wealth, it's your duty to help others. Instead of creating his own large foundation, Warren entrusted most of his donations to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. His decision was based on his confidence that Bill and Melinda Gates could manage the resources efficiently and make a real impact on lives around the globe. Warren didn't just write checks. He encouraged other billionaires to follow his example by launching the Giving Pledge with Bill and Melinda Gates. The Giving Pledge is not just about the amount of money. It's about changing a mindset. It asks billionaires to commit to giving away most of their wealth during their lifetimes, or in their wills. Warren never felt the need to show off his wealth. He often joked about his frugal habits, saying that he already had everything he needed and didn't see the point in buying more. He still enjoyed the simple pleasures in life, like drinking 5 cans of Coca-Cola a day and treating himself to that McDonald's breakfast. He would even keep the exact change ready for his meal. And he loved playing the card game bridge for hours with his friends. Warren Buffett is not just an investor, he is also a teacher. Throughout his career, he has made it a priority to share his wisdom with the world. Every year, Berkshire Hathaway holds its annual shareholders' meeting in Omaha. This event is often called the Woodstock for capitalists. Thousands of people travel from all over the world just to hear Warren and his longtime business partner, Charlie Munger, discuss their strategies, their mistakes, and the lessons they have learned. Warren believes that anyone can succeed in life if they develop the right habits. While Warren excelled at building wealth, his relationships were just as important in shaping his life. He maintained a deep bond with his children, even with his busy schedule. Warren has 3 children. His daughter Susan Alice Buffett, or Susie, inherited her parents' passion for philanthropy and works on social causes. His son Howard Buffett is an agriculturalist and is also very active in philanthropy focusing on world hunger and conservation. And his youngest son Peter Buffett is a talented musician and composer. Peter followed a creative path but remains deeply connected to his father's values. Warren's parenting philosophy is unique. He didn't want to spoil his children with money. Instead, he wanted them to find their own paths in life. He once said, "I want to give my kids enough to do anything but not enough to do nothing." Even in his 90s, Warren Buffett remains a student of life. He still reads for hours every single day, soaking up knowledge and staying curious. He once said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how little I know." His humility is a powerful lesson for everyone. No matter how much you achieve, there is always more room to grow. One of Warren Buffett's lesser-known qualities is his amazing ability to trust people and delegate responsibility. He famously sends just 1 letter a year to the CEOs of the companies Berkshire Hathaway owns. In the letter, he outlines his expectations. His message is clear. Run your business as if it's the only one your family will ever own. This deep trust empowers his team to make decisions with confidence. It's a great lesson for any aspiring leader. Success isn't about controlling everything. It's about building a team you can trust. Warren's frugality was never just about saving money. It was about focusing on what truly mattered to him. He believed in spending money on experiences and relationships rather than on material things. He knew that happiness isn't about how much you have, it's about how you feel about what you have. Warren has always been thoughtful about the industries he invests in. His decision to invest in Chevron. A large oil and gas company started discussions about environmental responsibility. While Warren acknowledged the environmental impact, he emphasized the importance of balancing economic needs with sustainability. He encouraged companies to innovate and reduce their carbon footprint while still meeting global energy demands. This investment showed his belief in tackling challenges responsibly rather than simply avoiding them. Throughout his life, Warren has emphasized the importance of integrity. He often says, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently." This principle has guided every decision he's made, whether it was investing billions of dollars or speaking at a conference. Warren always prioritizes honesty and trust. Now we are going to dive into the ultimate lessons you can learn from his life. These are the keys to his success, his principles, and the reasons why he continues to inspire millions of people around the world. If you have been paying close attention, you are already one step closer to thinking like a successful person. Let's take a deeper look at how Warren Buffett achieved greatness and how you can too. Before we talk about Warren's extraordinary success, let's start with something very important: his mistakes. We all make them. But the difference between successful and unsuccessful people is how they handle failure. Warren Buffett once said, "It's good to learn from your mistakes. It's better to learn from other people's mistakes." Warren did not achieve his success by being perfect. In fact, he made many mistakes in his career. One of his biggest mistakes was buying a company called Dexter Shoe Company in the 1990s. He paid $400 million for the company only to watch it fail. The company eventually became worthless. But here is the lesson. Warren took full responsibility for this mistake. He didn't blame anyone else. Instead, he used it as a learning experience. He told his shareholders, "I paid too much for the business. I could have used that $400 million better." By being honest and humble about his mistakes, Warren grew stronger. He didn't let failure define him. Instead, he used it as a stepping stone toward bigger and better things. So what can we learn from this failure is not the end. It is a lesson. The power of patience, of waiting for the right opportunity, is perhaps Warren's greatest strength. He did not rush into investments or big decisions. In fact, one of his most famous quotes is, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." Warren didn't jump at every opportunity that came his way. Instead, he waited for the right moment. He held on to his shares of Coca-Cola for decades, as patiently watching the company grow and watching his money grow with it. Patience was also a key in his personal life. Warren didn't rush into marriage. He took his time with Susan, his first wife, and when he lost her, he didn't jump into a new relationship immediately. Instead, he focused on his work and his family. He knew that good things take time. The lesson here is simple: don't rush. Wait for the right opportunities. Good things truly do come to those who wait. One of the most powerful concepts Warren teaches is the idea of compounding. Compounding means that small, consistent efforts over a long period of time can lead to massive results. Warren's favorite example is compound interest. When you invest money and let it grow, it earns interest. Over time, that interest starts earning its own interest. This creates a snowball effect, and your money grows much faster than you would ever expect. Warren's wealth grew so large because he made smart investments early in his life and then let them grow for decades. Let's imagine you start with a small investment of just $100. If you let it grow even a little bit every year, by the time you are 50, it could grow into a very large amount of money. If you follow Warren's advice about the power of compounding, you understand that it's not about getting rich quickly. It's about making smart choices and letting them grow over time. The lesson here is to start small, but be patient. Let your efforts compound over time. Warren Buffett has a simple set of rules that guide everything he does. He doesn't make things complicated. In fact, some of his rules are so simple, you might wonder why more people don't follow them. Let's look at some of his key rules. First, invest in yourself. Warren believes that the best investment you can ever make is in your own skills and knowledge. No one can take away what you know. The more you learn, the more you grow. Whether it's reading books, learning from others, or improving your skills, investing in yourself is the foundation of success. Second, do what you love. Warren never worked just for the money. He worked because he had a passion for it. He loved investing, and that passion is what made him so successful. If you love what you do, it won't feel like work. It will feel like a journey. Third, live below your means. Despite being worth billions of dollars, Warren lives in the same simple house he bought decades ago. He drives a simple car, and he doesn't waste money on luxury items. He believes in spending wisely and saving for the future. Fourth, surround yourself with good people. Warren always emphasizes the importance of having a strong, trustworthy team. Whether it's his business partners, his friends, or his family, he chooses to be around people who share his values. And fifth, be consistent. Warren believes in the power of staying consistent. It's easy to get distracted by the next big thing, but consistency is what pays off in the long run. He stuck with Berkshire Hathaway even when it wasn't popular. He kept investing in Coca-Cola and other companies even when no one else believed in them. These rules are simple, but they have the power to change your life if you apply them. Start following them today, and you will see the results over time. Let's take everything we've learned and apply it directly to your life. Whether you are dreaming of becoming financially successful, making a difference in the world, or just living a happy and fulfilled life, Warren Buffett's principles can guide you. 1. Start early, but don't rush. It's never too late to start, but the earlier you begin, the better. Whether it's investing, learning, or building relationships, take action now. Warren started investing when he was just 11 years old. If you're young, start now. If you're older, it is never too late. The key is to begin, and then to be consistent. 2. Learn constantly. Warren reads thousands of pages every year. Knowledge is power, and you must keep learning. Invest your time in books, videos, and podcasts that teach you new things. Every day is a new chance to grow your mind. 3. Patience is the key to success. Good things take time. Please do not expect quick results. Whether you are building wealth, learning a new skill, or creating a successful business, you must give it time. Success does not come overnight. It comes through consistent effort over many years. 4. Be humble and be honest. Warren's success didn't come because he was arrogant or because he pretended to know everything. He was humble. He admitted his mistakes, and he always stayed true to his values. If you want to succeed, be honest with yourself. Learn from your failures and always stay grounded. 5. Give back. Warren's commitment to giving away most of his wealth is a powerful reminder that true success isn't just about money. It's about making the world a better place. Think about what you can do to help others, whether it's with your time, your money, or your support. Warren Buffett's life is proof that anyone can achieve great things no matter where they start. His story is about determination, learning, and patience. It's about doing things that other people may not see the value in and trusting in your own abilities. The world might not always recognize your effort in the beginning, but with time, consistency, and a solid strategy, you can build something truly extraordinary. Remember, success does not happen overnight. It is a journey. And just like Warren Buffett, you can get there too. Now take the first step. Start today. Your future self will thank you.